So, Anthropic just announced an AI model supposedly so powerful they're refusing to release it. If you're a developer or business owner, you need to understand what just happened. So, Anthropic has built a new frontier model called Claude Mythos Preview. So, they've launched it as part of Project Glasswing, a coalition of 12 major tech companies, including Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, CrowdStrike, and the Linux Foundation, some big hitters, and over 100 million in credits committed to one goal: finding and fixing security vulnerabilities in the critical software that runs the internet. What's important to note here is these companies run and own the infrastructure of the internet. Every digital system you touch as part of your day to day on a daily basis is funneled through at least one of these companies. So Mythos has already found thousands of zero-day vulnerabilities. Nobody knew about them, not even developers, not even security researchers, not even automated tools. In one case, there was a 27-year-old bug from OpenBSD, an operating system literally famous for its security. There was a 16-year-old vulnerability found in FFmpeg's H.264 codec. And these are systems that have been run through automated testing and human testing millions of times in the last couple of years, and they still weren't caught until Mythos came along. I'm always wary with these kind of announcements that, oh, this model is so powerful that we have to hold it back. I mean, that plays great for marketing and it plays great for investors. But in this case, it seems like the actual companies that are involved are verifying the claims. Now, if we take a look at the benchmarks, and that's how you basically rank a large language model or a frontier model, you can see that there's a significant jump purportedly across all of the key metrics. Now, remember, these are metrics that are being released by the model provider themselves. So it's like, somebody rating themselves in terms of how good they are. But these are significant jumps here. So if we compare it against Opus 4.6, which would be the leading model from Anthropic and one of the best models for software development coding that I would use on a daily basis, there's a significant jump here on SWE Bench Pro and another 20% jump on Terminal Bench 2.0. Now, when we see regular frontier models being released, the likes of GPT, Gemini, we only see small jumps forward in progress, but these are big jumps of over 20% in some cases. Now, in fairness, if we look at SWE Bench Verified or Software Engineering Bench, this is one that I go off the most. It's not that much of a big jump, but 10% still is considerable. So if all of this is true, it's definitely a considerable step up. So here's the thing that really keeps me thinking. So Anthropic is giving their partners, all those companies that I previously mentioned, a head start. And that's a good thing in terms of security. It means that all of these companies can apply this model and understand how they can better secure the software that we all need to run our day to day. But this isn't really much of a head start. At the rate other companies move, OpenAI are going to get here shortly, Chinese labs will definitely get there, and open source will get there. If we know anything from what's happened over the previous 2 years, these other providers catch up and in some cases outperform. So within a few months, probably less than three, we're going to have every major mal actor out there having the ability to vulnerability and penetration test and create attacks for every piece of software that exists today. Now, there's also a centralization angle to this. This is the first time a major AI capability is being deliberately kept behind closed doors. The security argument is, of course, legitimate, but whoever controls models like these control enormous power, and concentrating that in 12 companies is really worth watching carefully. Is this the end of the most powerful frontier models being shared with the entire community? AI that finds vulnerabilities this well can help us build fundamentally more secure software. But we have to be eyes open about the risks. So start thinking about good processes, your security, and how to mitigate that going forward, because it is accelerating. So you know me, I'm definitely one for the practicalities and try to step back as much as I can from the hype. So let's get practical. If I was building software right now, I would take dependency management really seriously. Where are all your node modules and Python packages coming from? Those are the things that are being actively targeted by bad actors, because a large language model, which is being used for development now, is going to go and pull down a node module or a Python package that might be compromised onto your system that might inevitably open up some kind of a security hole or some kind of backdoor attack. You need to think about security as a continuous system, not this kind of like quarterly checklist. It needs to be baked into your continuous integration and how you build software on a daily basis, particularly if you're using large language models to write a lot of your code, as I am now completely. And we also have to start thinking outside the box because the attack surface is now going to start expanding. We're talking about AI that can find 27-year-old bugs in probably what was thought to be some of the most secure software out there. So, what kind of things could it find in your code that doesn't have the same amount of resources in terms of security applied to it? Essentially, in many cases, all software is vulnerable on some level. What makes a difference is how hard it is to break that vulnerability. So think about it as a castle. If you have a really strong castle, it can withhold attack for a long enough time. And that really puts off attackers. They're not going to bother going through every aspect of your setup to find the vulnerability. I think this is something that we can't necessarily cover ourselves. We're going to have to start applying large language models ourselves to find these vulnerabilities and fix them first. And I guess that is really the positive side of all this. The same capabilities that make this really concerning also make it really promising. Just for a minute, let's look at the lighter side of all this. We're seeing big jumps in what these models are capable of doing. And that really is exciting in terms of what can be built. Personally, I'm really excited about the democratization of software development. I'm building apps at an incredible rate that are bespoke and custom to my needs. I know of many other companies and people in my community that are doing the same thing for their own businesses. And I think we have a lot of big problems out there that can be solved with clever minds and good software. There's so many people out there I know who have great ideas and great execution power, but could never build software or code. Now they can actually realize their ideas and start solving substantial problems in our society and communities. So that's the kind of future I'm looking towards, a lot more Star Trek than Star Wars. And I'd encourage you to start thinking that way as well. See you in the next one.